Good. And then Sebastian's about to hop in right now. So we are live right now from Sonoma Valley. This is Tim. It's our first inaugural Sonoma Valley livecast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And so happy because we're being joined by, I see Linda from the Sonoma Valley Museum of Art. Linda, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. It's another beautiful day in Sonoma, and I'm paid to say that. I also see Kevin McNeely, Sonoma International Film Festival. Kevin, how are you?
Yeah, we're honored to be here. You know, I think all of us feel that we do what we can to add to the Sonoma Valley experience. So thanks for having us.
Of course. We're going to hear more about your film festival and what's happening and how it works out and how you're turning an airport into a drive-through, or drive-in, I guess, not a drive-through, but maybe if you offer fries with the movie, it'll be a drive-through. And then we've also got Sebastian Juarez from deep inside, it looks like a wine cave somewhere with Rancho Maria Wines. Hi, Sebastian.
Hey, happy to be here. Yes, this is my cellar here in my tasting room on the Sonoma Plaza. So this is where we store all of our inventory in these wine racks.
Love it. That's perfect. So if someone runs in there and grabs a bunch of wine, then we know that a big sale is happening at Rancho Maria. So I love it.
I'll tell you what, Sebastian, your cellar is a lot more impressive than mine.
Pretty impressive.
Far more I have at home as well.
Maybe Tim will do the next one there. You know, that looks a lot more festive.
Yeah, hopefully if people are watching and they're like, they want to film the next one in their wine cellar, just let us know. Which reminds me, Kevin, good segue. People can comment on this video using Facebook or YouTube. And if it's funny enough, if it's good enough, we will add it to the stream. And so happy to have people just commenting and tell us what's going on. So that would be fun. So again, comment. If you have friends on Facebook, tell them to comment. Friends on YouTube watching, they can comment.
And by the way, only positive comments.
Those are the only ones I'm going to let through.
And also no fake comments.
No fake comments. So I've got my entire family doing fake comments, Kevin, so that's going to be kind of weird. We're gonna have to figure that out. Today we're going to talk about a few things. Well, obviously the film festival, obviously the opening of the Sonoma Valley Museum of Art, which is happening, but a lot of people don't realize that we also have mustard season happening, right? And that's a big thing when it's springtime and things like that. And good time to run around in the vineyards, which is what Sebastian does. And, we need to hear more about that. And then, Linda, I love that you sent me some photos. So we're going to check those out and see.
Great. It's amazing. This is my 5th season here, and I don't remember it ever being this magnificent, but maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but it's really spectacular this year.
Linda, you're exactly right. I've never seen it quite like this, and we've been here almost 3 decades. And it's, I think maybe either the late rains, but it's absolutely incredible. I had to go to San Francisco this morning, and the trip back and forth just to see it was magnificent.
It's always when people coming up the view and they're like, wow, and they stop on the side of the road, and we'll give some tips on how not to stop on the side of the road.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The picture is great.
Sebastian, I have a question for you. When that dries, does that add to some kind of fertilizer to the grapes on the mustard or not?
Yes, it's not. It doesn't, and they don't let it dry. Actually, people are going to start mowing down right now to get proper airflow through into their vines. So the idea of mustard is twofold. One, that it helps prevent certain pests that can get into your vineyard, and also the idea is that it helps with nitrogen infusion into your soil. So when you are ready to start mowing your vineyard, when the buds start breaking and you have a bloom on the vines, you will then mow that down and till it under into the soil, and then it'll help kind of regenerate and give a little kick to the vines to start off the growing season.
All right, I like Sebastian. You're talking yourself into like a whole, viticulture series we could do here, as long as we can get the cord out long enough in the vineyard or get really good Wi-Fi. I love that. Kevin, I want to first talk about the film festival if we can. It's kicking off on Wednesday, is that correct?
Yeah, it's coming on Wednesday, and I'm glad Linda's joining us because the museum over the years has been really a great partner. They provide one of our popular venues, and we try to show all of our art films. And if you've ever seen a film inside the museum, it's a magical space. So it's great that Linda's here. I think, all of us try to do something to bring our cultural assets. I think we feel that we deliver big city events without the inconvenience of living in a big city. And if you've ever seen the exhibitions at the museum, they're absolutely incredible. And with the film festival, we do the same thing. I mean, this year we have 120 films from 40 countries. We have 20 premieres, more than we've ever had before.
Wow.
And, we're bummed that we can't do a live event, but we have found that the virtual platform, maybe we get anywhere 7,000 plus people come between Wednesday and Sunday.
Right.
With our virtual, 18,000 people are watching. So that's kind of cool. And as you pointed out, Tim, our live component is doing the drive-ins.
That way, I just want to say that you essentially doubled in half or whatever. I can't do math. The normal film festival attendance, when normally people would come in here in the spring, it'd be a big thing. You mentioned Sonoma Wood. You're famous for putting up a sign that says Sonoma Wood, like Hollywood.
Oh, you should see the hate mail I get for that one.
Really? Kevin, I'm shocked that anything involving anything in Sonoma involves public comment. I would just be absolutely shocked.
There are some severe critics around here. And
wow.
It does. I promise you, it doesn't deter anyone. I get a kick out.
As long as they spell your name right.
Yeah, and the Creekside kids, which is part of the high school, they're the ones that originally did it. And I think it's, it's fun when the banners go up on the plaza and Sonoma Wood comes out. There's a certain festiveness that happens.
Well, and they're up there right now. So tell me, you're doing this drive-in thing. You actually are doing 3 showings of a movie.
Yeah, we've done it. We've done it a few times, Tim, just to see, if people were interested in coming. And I think, a few months ago, everyone was so desperate just to get outside, and we have to stop selling tickets at about 100 cars. And so we're doing it. We have a 4-story screen, which is amazing, and the sound comes through a FM station. So Wednesday night's our opening night, and our opening night film is a Judi Dench film called 6 Minutes to Midnight, and it's a adaptation from a book. And on Friday, we're doing this Russian action film called Spacewalker. And then on Saturday, for our closing film, we're going to do The Comeback Trail with De Niro and Morgan Freeman and Tommy Lee Jones. So it's a fun atmosphere, and the weather's supposed to be better, and it's going to be warmer out. So I think people love the idea of trying to do something live. So
are there still tickets available, Kevin, if people want to buy them?
There's still tickets. You can go on our website, sonomafilmfest.org. In the top right corner, there's something that says buy. And if you open that up, you can get a virtual pass. The other thing, Tim, that we're doing is to our salute to all the healthcare workers and the first responders. We have people that are buying, the pass is usually $175. So we have a pass for sale for $25. And those passes are donated to the hospital, donated to the police, the first responders. And we've gotten over 100 of those passes. And I know that I hear from Dave Peer that they're appreciated at the hospital. And so it's a nice way to tip our hat and say thank you.
So you can so just to understand that, Kevin, people buy it for the someone in the medical or first responder.
Right.
Front line.
If you have a choice, you can either buy a virtual pass, you can either buy a pass for healthcare, or you can do both.
Okay.
So as many in the case with the healthcare, as many of those that are bought, we're distributing them. And someone recently, was nice enough to say, well, why don't you do something for your volunteers? So we had someone donate $2,000. So that will donate a lot of passes to our volunteers that help us every year.
Tell me, what movie is the one that everyone should watch? What's the one that you're like, you got to see this one, don't miss it?
Well, you know what, to Sebastian, I mean, our food and wine films are extremely popular, and we play, it's to the perfect group. And if you go on our website and you go to film guide and you put in wine and food, it will bring up 3 or 4 different films. And they have little posters, and you click on the poster and there's a synopsis and there's a trailer. So we have films for people that are into social issues. We have some amazing rock and roll films. One is called Someone Up There Must Like Me, which is the Ronnie Wood story. And we have another one, Chuck Leavell, the Tree Man, and he's the keyboard guy for the Stones. So, I mean, we try and as far as the art films, I mean, if the museum was up and going, we'd show the Mutnalani film and we'd show the Escher film there. And both of those are tremendous. And we have if you're into auto racing, Uppity is great. So, I mean, it's tough, Tim. As they say, we love all of our children the same.
I was say, Kevin, you're hedging. You're not going out there. Okay, which one's the worst one? Which one should I not? You're not going to answer that either, are you?
Yeah. And well, you know what? There's a lot that goes into selection. We get close to 1,000 submissions, and then our program director, Steve Shore, he attends, and it's had to been virtual this year, but usually he's at Cannes, Toronto, Sundance, so we get festival favorites. And so we try to build a program where people aren't coming out kind of scratching their heads going, what the heck? Because we're only 5 days. And it'd be one thing if we were 10 days or 2 weeks. I mean, we might put in more esoteric films, but we really try to put films that we feel that people are going to like. And I hear from people if they found something too provocative or they didn't like it, but that's rare. With 120 films, some people are going to think you get a couple dogs.
Right. Okay. That's legit. And the neat thing is, you buy the pass, you can see a lot of films. So
yeah, I meant you can buy individual tickets for individual films, but for $175, you're able to see from Wednesday. Here's the other advantage with virtual. A live festival, you have to go particular time, see a particular film in a particular venue. This way, from Wednesday to Sunday, you can watch all these different films. And if there are a couple films that come up at the same time, all you do is you start one, you hit pause, and you get 24 hours to watch it. So if you're into film, you'll have a chance to see them. And even next year, Tim, for our 25th, we're going to have a virtual parallel platform.
Okay, I like this because, as we all know, none of us are wearing pants right now. So the advantage is we've gotten used to that. So we can attend your film festival and be at home. Sebastian's like, am I? He can't remember. And that's kind of cool because, you got to get dressed up even for Sonoma, put on your clean overalls when you're going out. So we can watch it from home. But it would be good to get back and see people. I did see a comment from Ava Bertrand saying, always great foreign language films and docs. Ava is from Spain. I think she speaks both Spanish and Catalan. So good to see that. And thanks for listening, Ava. And hopefully we can see you virtually at the film festival, which would be perfect.
Well, Ava's been a wonderful sponsor. And when she was in charge of bubbles at Gloria Ferrera, there was never an absence of bubbles being poured in the backlot tent. So
good to know, bubble lady.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hers, and she's exactly right. I mean, every year we have 5 or 6 Spanish language films, as we do French. We have a film from the Ukraine. I mean, as I said, there are films from 40 different countries, and so there's we have this one film that if you like action adventure, this is like the Sully, the guy that landed the plane on the Hudson River. This is the Chinese version, and it's called The Captain, and it's fantastic.
Oh, I saw that on there. I was looking at it, so I just want to watch. Okay, I'll have to check The Captain. Let's check that out. I do want to pivot and talk to Linda a bit, but Kevin, you're sticking around because we're talking. Yep. The Sonoma Valley Museum of Art is a phenomenal museum that a lot of people don't know. I think for being, Sonoma Valley is pretty small, and you guys definitely punch way above your weight in the art world. So, Linda, why don't you tell me a little bit about what's going on at the Sonoma Valley Museum of Art, and when can we finally get in there?
Thank you. We've been closed painfully for a year, along with a lot of other folks, and finally, now that Sonoma's in the red tier, we are looking forward so much to being open again next week. We're going to open up on Wednesday the 24th, and as a way to thank our members. The first week will be members only, and if you're a non-member and want to come in, you're certainly welcome to go on the website and buy a membership.
Okay.
And then after that, we're gonna open to the public on April 1st, and we will be free to everybody that comes in until April 30th. So again, that's a way to thank our community. The community has been incredibly generous, and they've stuck with us through this past year when our doors were closed. We did pivot towards virtual platforms, which, as Kevin said, it's amazing how it expands your reach. I mean, we did a show, a webcast of a poetry show, and we were able to pull in people from Abu Dhabi, from London, from New York, and it was really eye-opening. So that's been one of the opportunities that the pandemic has offered is to develop that online platform. But it's not the same as attending a museum in person. So we're thrilled that we can be back opened up, and we're going to open up 12 to 4 for about the first month. And we're opening up with an exhibition that I'm very proud of. It was 4 years in the making, and it's Ed Ruscha Travel Log. Okay. And he is simply one of the best known artists working today. And we've got pieces from his iconic artist books, photographs, prints, works on paper. These are images that he comes back to over and over again in his work. So we borrowed from 6 different lenders for this exhibition. This Ed Ruscha studio itself, private collectors and galleries. And this show went up in September, was supposed to come down in January, but because of the pandemic, we went to all of our lenders and asked them, could we please, it's just too good a show to take down with, not being seen by our audience, and everybody was so understanding. And so we're able to hold this over through the end of May. So we're super excited, and people will need to be masked. We're going to have social distancing. We've got plexi barriers up and no touch surfaces everywhere. So it'll be a COVID responsible experience.
Linda, tell me, Ed Ruscha, who is this person? And what is, like, I'm looking at it here, I've been going through some of it. It looks like he takes photos of sort of like the West Coast, American West, kind of contemporary. That's all the art words I know. Can you help me?
You're absolutely right. He grew up in the Midwest, and at age 18 got in a car with his best friend Mason Williams. And those of you who remember the song Classical Gas will remember the name Mason Williams. And Mason Williams was also a writer for Smothers Brothers. But they came out to California so that Ed could go to art school. And he started out with very simple, very graphically designed pieces. And he was fascinated. They moved to Los Angeles. He's lived in Los Angeles 60 years. And he is fascinated with LA, with California culture. And his work, people often say it's about LA, but certainly there's a lot of LA influence in it.
Okay. It's interesting to see there's like the kind of car culture, it looks like.
Right.
Travel. I mean, it's called Travel Log. So
yeah, it's about he takes, it's about road trips. He takes a lot of road trips and takes photographs, and then those photographs become books, they become prints, they become paintings. So he keeps going back to those images, and they're everyday things, and he brings them forward in a new light. So anyway, very exciting to bring the show here.
Linda, let me ask, have you ever seen him in the Sonoma Valley Museum of Art?
No, but I'm looking forward to giving him a private tour, one-on-one, just us. We're going to lock the door, and I'll take you through.
I would love that.
He better reciprocate of a tour of the cellar then.
Well, I didn't want to ask, but yeah, that's kind of the expectation.
Always offer the thing, for you first, and they have to reciprocate. That's
right.
The classic way of this.
Yeah.
Tell me, how do you choose the shows that are coming? Like, you had one before, a man took huge photographs of Africa,
right,
and then overlaid it like years later, the same photograph.
Right.
How do you find this stuff? How does that work?
They come from a lot of different places. Kevin has suggested an artist for a show, and that came to life. We had Valentin Popov in last January. So they come from our staff, me visiting other museums, visiting art fairs, talking to artists. They come from our board members, from community members who say, hey, I know this great artist, or I saw this great show. And then a conversation starts, and it takes 2 or 3 years usually. For a big show like Ed Ruscha, it takes 4 years, but it starts with a conversation.
One thing I like about the museum, and I've seen this, you put some events up, that you have these evening events where you would take people around and explain what's happening. I think it was paired with wine, but that could just be because I think everything in Sonoma was paired with wine. So what were those called, and are those coming back?
Those are some of my favorite events. Those events are called pairings, and you're right. We have winemakers come in, and poets, and sometimes chefs, and they will come in at once. All 4 genres at once will come in, and they'll pair wine and poetry and sometimes food with a work of art. And so, the winemakers bring their friends who maybe don't know much about poetry or art, but they're there for the wine, and likewise the chefs and the poets, they'll bring their folks in, and it's all this sort of cross-disciplinary mix, and they sell out as soon as the notice hits, and okay. They're super popular, and I absolutely love them. It's a great way to look at art, and kind of an intimate setting, great way to get to know some of the winemakers and poets as well.
And those will be coming back, hopefully, God willing, someday.
I hope in the fall. Yeah, we're hoping that'll come back in the fall.
All right. If not, we'll do it virtually or something. Kevin will figure out how to make it move.
You can do it. I mean, kind of like what Linda's doing. We've taken a chapter out of that same book. And so, for in those 5 days to try to once again give some of the things that why people like a live film festival. So we have everything from cooking demonstrations from Michael and Leah, who are from the Devour Film Festival, and they do the Chefs and Shorts dinner, which is popular. We have wine tastings. I wish, Sebastian, we were doing it with you. And we have the cooking demos, and we have a lot of the interviews. And one film, Tim, as far as a film for people to see that I think is an important film.
Okay.
It's called Truth to Power. And it's all about Barbara Lee. And Barbara Lee was the first woman of color to be elected to the Senate 20 years ago. And she is absolutely a fascinating person and an amazing force. And my conversation with her was enlightening to me. And she's very cool. And so that's Truth to Power. And if you want, go to our website, because I want to kind of show people how easy it is.
I'll hop over there real quick. Hold on.
I'll keep talking. It's sonomafilmfest.org. And when you get there, go to the top tab, Tim, that says festival.
Okay. Festival, yeah.
Yeah. And then go down the film guide. Go down.
It is.
Right. Open that up.
Okay.
So this is what I was talking about. See all these different genres that are up on top, the different colors.
Yeah. Okay.
So, read out a couple. I can't see them from here.
Adventure shorts, animated shorts.
Right.
Culinary shorts, comedy shorts. That's
yeah.
My kids say.
And so different people, will, as Linda sponsored one of our art films, another film that was on top, 23 Walks, is a dog film. And that's sponsored by Pets Lifeline. But if you go to one of these films, right, and if you double click it,
okay,
you'll get a synopsis, right, and then in a lot of cases you'll get a trailer, and it will tell when it's going to play. So it's pretty easy. And then up on the top right where it says Buy Now, go to Buy Now. So
wait a minute. Are you going to convince me to get my credit card out right here in the middle of the
No. I want to show.
Okay. Sebastian,
Tim.
Right. So here are the different categories. Remember the virtual everything. You got the first responder pass. You got the virtual everything with it.
Let me log in.
And then if you get a drive-in ticket, that's in a separate area. And if you buy a pass, you get a big discount on the drive-in. And
so the drive-in's separate from the normal pass.
Yeah, drive-in separate from it.
Okay.
But you're nice to show your group this. But basically, what I wanted to demonstrate, it's pretty intuitive and it's pretty easy to to move around.
So here's what I want to know: when are we going to start like showing movies in the tasting rooms around the plaza? Not during the normal film fest, but like I know you did a couple things, but like Sebastian could host. I like how I'm just volunteering Sebastian for stuff, but could host like a showing of something like, I don't know, in November or something like that. Are there plans for that? Like to do like this miniature? I mean, I know you do the ongoing film festival, but
well, you know what, Sebastian? Here's the thing: there's that amphitheater. So you bring the wine, we'll bring the film.
The amphitheater in the plaza.
Yeah.
That amphitheater. I would love to do an outdoor movie there. I would love that.
That would be really cool.
We need
That's great.
we need an extension cord, guys. I don't know if you've looked at the amphitheater recently, but we could from the office. We'll do it.
Yeah.
All right, so Linda, we got just real quick back. You're opening April 1st. It starts free April 1st through April 30th, which is great because tax day falls around that time, so people have some money left over. I love that. If people want more information about the museum, how would they find that information?
svma.com.
Okay, svma.com. Okay, it's all right there. Go check it out. We're going to talk a little bit about vineyards now. And Sebastian, you are in the wine business.
I am.
So wine grows in the vineyards, right?
It does. Yeah.
People come up to wine country right now. Are there grapes on the vines right now?
Currently, no. Currently, we are, as you said before, it's a mustard season, so the vineyards are still very picturesque. There's people in and around running through vineyards, catching the best photos. I'm sure you've seen those on Instagram. People are posting them on Facebook. As you said before, Sonoma Valley is very beautiful right now, and it's because of that mustard bloom. Some places are actually experiencing what we call bud breaks. So there are little buds forming on the vines. I believe that's happening down in Carneros right now. And that's going to continue to start happening as the weather gets warmer. Those vines are going to start waking up from their hibernation.
So right now we've got Green Hills, right, which we're famous for. It's why Kevin's Sonoma wood sign always looks good. You've got dormant vines, right? You guys harvest the stuff, then people prune it. And Sebastian, I was going to say I don't think, have I ever seen you in a vineyard, Sebastian? Have I?
You'd have to come to my vineyard, Tim.
Touche. Why don't you ever invite us? You see that, Linda? We got to get more invitations.
Hey, you have an open invitation, and you know that.
Bring your pruning shears.
Yeah, exactly. We're you to work. Exactly. You don't just get to look cute on Instagram, Tim.
No, that's all I'm known for. But so the vines have been pruned, and now they're dormant, and then you say bud break happens, the little green leaves start to appear. And as people who've recently moved up here have found out, it sounds like there's a helicopter in your backyard when the wind machine turns on, and that's a little frost protection going on. Let's talk though, okay, safety for taking a good mustard photo. I've got artistic people here. I've got a wine person here, and I've got just random me. If you're going to go out and take a photo in mustard, Linda, should you just come to a screeching halt on the side of the road, run across the freeway and take a photo? Or what are you guys doing?
You're seeing a lot of that. If you're driving around, you see a lot of people either going out to the Clydesdale horses or laying down in the mustard. It's as Linda pointed out, this is probably one of the most extraordinary years that we've seen in a long time. It's another great reason to come to Sonoma Valley. And Sonoma Valley's open, and even people are starting to eat in restaurants, and restaurants have built different places out on the street. This is a wonderful time.
It's great, but now is not the time to go jumping around looking for, don't stop on the road to get the mustard. Like pull into a winery, right? And check into the tasting room.
Just practice safe driving. It's common safe driving. It's courteous. Make sure to throw your blinkers on. Don't just pull over on the side of the road when you see a good picture opportunity. Make sure you're being safe with that, and be courteous of people that may be behind you, particularly when you're going to be pulling off.
and I like this woman's doing ballet or something in the vineyard.
Wow.
Here. That happens all the time. People don't know
That's
that.
what I'm going to be doing this afternoon, just like that.
I thought that was you there for a second, Kevin. I got to be honest. I love this. I'm just on Instagram with the hashtag Sonoma, so I get all sorts of crazy things on here. So apologies, but you just show some of the photos that we are seeing there. Oh, look at this one, the Sonoma Valley account. Put this one up.
That's gorgeous.
Those are some good spots.
Wow.
Linda, you mentioned some spots where you saw some good mustard. Where are you seeing?
Yeah, I do love to photograph. I've been having a blast photographing the mustard bloom, and my favorite spot is by B.R. Cone. They've got some spectacular fields there with vineyards and the oak trees, and it's just so amazing.
Linda, go out by Bracco's Barn on Arnold Drive.
That's another good place.
And drive from there to Oakmont. And you can't believe it on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think these are some of the images you sent me before.
Those are my shots. Yeah.
Well, good for you, Linda.
Did you pull off the road, Linda, when you took this photo?
Yeah, I pulled off the road and walked in. Yeah. I'm going to dive in there.
So way to do it. And what I love is that what's going to happen next, as Sebastian said, the heartless wine growers are going to chop all that stuff up. If it's between the vines, it does. I hear a little bit of nitrogen fixing, but also helps with moisture retention.
Sebastian, when do you think that's going to happen?
It's already happening. It really depends on the farmer and the vineyard manager, and it's a decision based on when they feel it's going to be best for their vines. But it's typically leading up to the bud break. So it's going to start happening right now. And in that spot at B.R. Cone, because there aren't any vines there, I don't know that they're going to mow down quite so quickly. They're probably going to wait. They're aware that they've created a really great picture spot for people. And they know there's people trolling through those through the mustard, and I think they really do enjoy that. It is a beautiful bloom over there. It's very impressive. I mean, it's necessary. I mean, there was a very old, beat up Merlot vineyard there that they tore out some years ago, and just to add to, and I agree that it's the cool weather. It really is. That cool weather, that rain really created a really nice bloom. I think it's going to be a fantastic growing season this year. We had a good one last year. It was just, it got hot and fire came down on us. But I think this year is going to be just as good. I think it's going to continue to get wet a little bit like we experienced last year, kind of a later spring. But as long as it doesn't frost again. Jim, you mentioned the fans in people's backyards. So frost is something that we're dealing with now, which we've always traditionally dealt with here in the Sonoma Valley. It does get cold here compared to other parts of Sonoma County. So it really just kind of depends on what farmers want to do. But it is a beautiful time, and there's some good spots to take some pictures. Not just of the mustard. And when the mustard goes, I mean, you're going to see people jumping in those vineyards anyway. I mean, Sonoma Valley, we really just live in a place that's worth taking pictures of.
I think we got a whole new film fest of people jumping in vineyards, and Linda, the whole exhibit, or maybe what you could do is just do an exhibit of a vineyard inside the museum, right? It'd be kind of meta, but then people can run right through and not have to stop on the side of Highway 12 or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like that Van Gogh thing.
Exactly. See, we're making art right here. We're making art.
Exactly. There's art all around us. It's all beautiful.
Sebastian, you mentioned they pulled out a vineyard. Vineyards don't last forever. Do they? How does that work? Do we plant them? When do they decide to do that?
They do not. No. I mean, they do last a very long time. A lot of those vines in and around B.R. Cone, Hansel, Little Vineyards, a lot of those vines are well into their 80s, 90s, some of them over 100 years old. Merlot vines, Zinfandel vines, Cabernet vines will last a very long time if they're taken care of, and if they're farmed correctly, they'll last well over 60, 80, 100 years even. And those are some of the oldest vines. But at some point, the farmer is going to have to make a decision quantity-wise. Eventually, the vines are just going to stop producing. And they're going to keep blooming, and they're going to continue to go through their life cycle, but they just won't produce fruit anymore. And so at that point, you have to make a decision to pull out the vines and replace them. But with such a big area like that, and we're referring to that B.R. Cone spot, it's they may be a while before they replant that.
Okay.
Tim, I unfortunately have to bid adieu. I'm going to try to do as well as you. I don't think I'm going to do it. But I have an interview with this guy, George Gallo, and he's the writer-director of the Comeback Trail, which is one of our drive-ins. But I encourage your Facebook audience to come up next week on Wednesday for our opening film, 6 Minutes to Midnight. Friday night is the Spacewalker, and Saturday's the Comeback Trail. But I'm honored to be part of your inaugural Facebook Live. I would give you an A+.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That is,
and the people that you've had on it, I don't know how you've gotten them. An extraordinary group. Just like Linda, you must have been planning for 3 or 4 years.
I basically told everyone Linda was going to be on, and the other two, as you know. Well, Kevin, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for the shameless plug for the film festival, and Sebastian, I'm going to be next to you live with my mask, but also my glass. So you're fair warned. And Linda, I can't wait to come back in the museum.
And I can't wait for SIF.
Yeah, and thanks for being one of our sponsors. And you know what? It does. Linda's husband David has an amazing photography studio, and it's right next to the museum. And that's another reason to come to. It's right on Broadway. Another reason to come to Sonoma Valley. But Tim, you do a hell of a job.
Thank you, Kevin. You're hired. All right, I'm going to stick around. But I have one more question for you.
Enjoy the weekend, you guys.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, so look at that. I felt like I should have him more often just to read us compliments and tell us what's going on. Linda, tell me a bit more about that art gallery real quick, because I do know that that's your husband is he a photographer and artist, right?
He's a photographer, and his gallery is Modern Art West, and he's got fine art on the just off the plaza. It's a couple of doors down. It's the old Frenchies building, and I love having the gallery there. I miss Frenchies because it was so close for us, but he was able to redo that space, and he's got a painting show up there right now. It's East-West Abstraction. It's Asian American artists from California. So he's very happy to be here.
And that's around the corner, from Sebastian, from your tasting room on the plaza. So during this inaugural live streamcast or whatever we're calling it, I'm like, I better get people who are kind of clustered together so we kind of talk about the plaza. But just so people know, there is the plaza. There's the Springs, as you had. Well, there's Carneros, then there's the plaza, then there's the Springs, then there's Glen Ellen, then there's Kenwood, then there's Santa Rosa. Just turn around and come right back. And that's just kind of like what there is in Sonoma Valley. So you like that, Sebastian? Just turn around.
Yeah. Don't go there. Just stay here.
Sebastian, if people are trying to find your tasting room, how do they find it? Where are you located? And et cetera, et cetera.
I'm right here on First Street West. It's 481 First Street West. I'm right in the middle of the plaza on First Street West. And we're here on the tasting room. We are able to do outside seating right now. We have a wonderful little back patio where we do our tastings, and we're hosting. Reservations are strongly recommended. However, we do keep a couple of tables open for walk-ins and try to cater to walk-ins. That is kind of playing things on the fly is part of people's weekend plans. Are like, let's just play it by ear. And so that's part of the charm of walking around the plaza. People want suggestions. Where would you go as a local? And so it's nice to be able to keep those spaces open for those spontaneous people who just kind of stumble in. And sometimes those end up being some of the best people to hang out with and to converse with because they're just really, really excited to be in Sonoma Valley and on the plaza.
And you might invite them into the wine cellar there and just take your pick. Lynn and I are waiting for that invite. That's what we're going to do.
No. This is actually, it's a lot of library behind me. Vintages dating back from 2014 all the way to our current release vintage, which is our 2018 vintage. So 4 vintages of wine, Rancho Maria Wines in here. And it's held together mostly, surrounded by stone. So it's a stone kind of cellar. So it's a special little place to taste. Wine definitely tastes different back here because of the environment and the ozone back here. So it's a cool little place to taste wine.
And people can come back this weekend. You guys have availability, hopefully, but if not, make reservations. I put Rancho Maria Wines there on the screen. So people can
definitely. You can make a reservation at ranchomariawines.com. It's right there on the front page. Make a reservation. And we'd be happy to host. We still have spots available for Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon as well.
Got it. And then after April 1st, you will send people to the Sonoma Valley Museum of Art for their free entry for 1 month to go check it out. So Linda, Sebastian, you guys are great. Thank you so much for being a part of my first Faded Streamcast here. You guys, thank you. That was good. We didn't make any big mistakes, did we? Did we do okay? Did I swear?
I think we did well. Good job, Tim.
We made it. All right.
Great.
If people have more questions about Sonoma Valley, they can go to sonomavalley.com. And then they can also go to our Plaza Visitor Center. We also have one down at Beyond Some Winery. We're happy to answer your questions, give you information about Rancho Maria, about the Sonoma Valley Museum of Art, about the Sonoma International Film Festival, and about 300 other things to see and do in Sonoma Valley. So with that, guys, have a good weekend. Thank you very much, and we'll see you around Sonoma.
Thank you.
Bye. Sure,
Yes,
bye.
thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.